Okay. Have you turned your health and wellness into another goal to achieve? So, do you have a self care practice? And is your self care burning you out? We'll try anything: green drinks, deep breathing, yoga, vacations, massages, meditations, retreats, courses, apps to biohack, and, trackers to count our steps. So, yes, as driven professional women, uh, oh, as driven professional regenopausal women, we'll try anything and everything to be what our work, our family, and our world demands of us. We think if we just hustle and work harder or smarter, we'll get where we want to go. So, what if I told you there was an easier way? Welcome to the Permission to Play show. I'm Carla White, your spark igniter, and I'll be your guide and support team to turn your exhausted into energized, you're alone into connected, you're underappreciated into wildly authentic confidence, and your pressure cooker life into your personal power. So if you're yearning to resolve and dissolve the stress, anxiety, and tension permanently, get ready to step into ease, fulfillment, and more joy. Let's flow. So about 10 years ago, just as I was being weaned off of antidepressants and I was a bit of a place of now what? What now? How do I find my spark again? How do I live without the medication? And I did three things that year. It was 10 years ago, 2013. I did three things that completely changed my life that year. Aside from being weaned off medication, I signed up and attended the Breakthrough to Success. And I also that year started to become a success principles trainer with Jack Canfield. So I got to, for that year, I was down in the States 4 times. And my family thought that it was just me running away to a really great holiday. And it sort of was, but it actually was just a transformational training that completely changed my life, changed that trajectory of my life. The second thing I did was I hired a coach to help me write the book that I didn't know that I wanted to write, but as a part of the training, I figured that I always wanted to be a speaker, motivational speaker, but I didn't know that writing a book was one of the things that I should do. So I hired a coach to help me write the book. And the third thing that I did was probably the most unusual and the most transformational. And that was I attended a 10-day silent meditation retreat. I know. It's hard to believe that somebody who loves to talk would go and subject themselves to 10 days of silence. And it was an amazing experience, and one I highly recommend, but it's not for everybody, and you don't have to do that. But when I came out of that silence, I met with my writing coach, and she said, "So Carla, like, what did you learn? What were what did you get out of this?" And I said, "Kathy, it's all about me. I'm the only one who can make the changes in my life. I'm the only one who can find a way to do this. I'm the only one who can heal myself out of this current situation that I'm in." And she said to me, "Well, there's the title of your book. It's all about me." So that was the working title of the book. It's all about me. And then just before publishing, we went online and did a search. It's all about me. And a title that came up was It's All About Me, The Problem with Masturbation. And I didn't think that I could compete with that, actually. So I changed the name of the book to Reignite Your Spark. which also could be, never mind. Anyway, that's what I want to talk to you about today is, first off, what is a spark and how do we reignite it? Because I don't know about you, like drop in the comments there if you feel a little like you've lost that spark, that essence, that fire, that you're feeling more burned out than lit up. So just drop let's say, the word spark in there if you're feeling less sparky and more burned out. So what is a spark? Somebody asked me, what is a spark? Well, it's you. It's your energy and your essence. It's your soul. It's your power, that innate beingness in you, the power. It's your awareness or your consciousness. It's your rituals, rhythms, and routines. And it's what keeps you going and growing. And yes, that spells spark. So if you, there we go. You know how they say to make sure and shut your phone off when you're doing things? Okay, this alarm is a better time to go off than when I had one go off at a funeral. Yeah, just saying. So I didn't turn my phone off. But see, this is the whole, like, the perfectionist in me there was a time when that would have just totally thrown me off. Well, not that it didn't throw me off, but anyway, yes, that spells spark. And I love acronyms. So if you love acronyms too, and you want to reignite your spark, comment spark below. So I was in this place where I needed to find a new way of showing up in the world that wasn't fueled by this stress and anxiety that had pretty much taken over my life. And I didn't want to force it or fake it till I made it, or, continue to try and prove. So I needed to get on this quest. And that was part of the whole, I thought I needed more training. I thought I needed more personal development. And I was on this quest to find the holy grail of ultimate health and happiness, because I was really unhealthy and really unhappy in my life. And it's a fairly interesting ride that I've been on. And that's why I show up here and I talk about health and happiness, and because that was my journey. And I want to know from you if you could use more, transform your health or find more happiness, more joy in your life. Just drop a note in there that if you're, an emoji that says, yeah, you know what, I could use a little work in my health and my happiness. So one of my B schoolers, one of the things that we do in B school is we celebrate our brilliance and what we're good at. And we also look for our growth opportunities, our go-tos. So the things that we want to work on. And one of my beautiful B schoolers said, you know what? I am so brilliant at caring for others. Anyone else really good at caring for others? I know you are, because if you're a mom or if you're a woman, you're really good at caring for others. It's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are. We're caregivers. It's a natural part of who we are. And she went on to say, I'm even, kind of good at self-care. And, for a long time, I also thought I was good at self-care. And one of the things that I discovered in this 10 days of silence was this awareness that, you know what, I was pretty good at looking after myself, self-care. I kind of got past that whole idea of, that self-care was selfish. Like, anybody remember that? Like in fact, I remember when I said that I was talking about the working title being It's All About Me, someone said, oh, that's very self-centered, very selfish. And you know what else is selfish? Breathing. Breathing is selfish because you're doing it to stay alive. So the whole idea of selfish was not something that sort of resonated with me, but I know for a lot of women it is. It's the not taking care of yourself because you're so busy taking care of everybody else. Anyway, I used to say that I was so good at self-care because I was, I would always get my hair done. I had my nails done. I was good at getting massages, and, I was pretty good at all the self-care stuff that I was told to do. And well, I didn't do yoga, but I was sort of stepping into this whole meditation thing. And Stu actually used to call them my maintenance appointments, which worked really well because he's a financial planner. So he loves to spend money on nothing. But if he sees that it's something that is required, then, it's important. So he called them my maintenance appointments. We're going to go with that. But what I found out in the retreat was that I had no idea how to take care of my soul and how to feel better. The self-care that I was doing just wasn't really working because I looked great on the outside, but it was my heart and my soul that was really hurting, and my inner dialogue and the insides, the invisible stuff that no one else sees. So the mask I had on for the rest of the world was that, yes, I am well put together, and I am, I'm taking good care of myself, and I'm healthy, and all of those things. So drop a self in the comments if you can relate to this, if you're good at self-care. And my B schooler, she said, what I need is soul care. And this is probably the most common question that I get is, well, what is the difference between self-care and soul care? And I will tell you the difference between self-care and soul care is that self-care, probably the easiest definition that I could make is that self-care is the action and soul care is the feeling. The feeling, the sensations that you get of deep nourishment and care. So I used to, and tell me, let me know if you get massages, but when you're getting the massage, you're laying there planning your day or thinking about all the things that you're, taking time away from doing, and you're sorting out all the things that you have to do. And I have done this, not proud of it, but I once answered the phone in the middle of my massage. And it was, this is why you turn your phone off. And it was because it was from my husband calling me in the middle of the day. And he never calls me in the middle of the day. So I thought it was an emergency. So I picked up the phone, and do you know what he wanted to know? Was whether I was cooking supper. And when I complained to my daughter about how he phoned me during my massage, she said, well, what kind of amateur doesn't turn her phone off when she's having a massage? So I'm learning. I'm getting better at this. Well, clearly I'm not learning because I didn't turn off the alarm, but it's all about that feeling. And I had a conversation. In fact, this morning, I just got back from my Friday, one of my Friday favorite rituals, which is a pedicure. And I used to go and have my pedicure. I am recording, but you can go in. Have my pedicure, but I'd be on my phone. I'd be doing whatever I was, I wouldn't be in that moment. So some of soul care is about being really present in the here and now and actually getting the benefit of it. I also want to talk about how somebody said something about, I had a guilt-free vacation. And I remember being in a mastermind and somebody said, hey, what's your guilty pleasure? And I immediately felt my hackles go. I completely reacted to it, because it's like, can we stop associating guilt with pleasure? There's nothing to feel guilty about with self-care, with pleasure, with taking vacations, which with self-care, there's nothing to feel guilty about. And there's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is that you've done something wrong. Shame is that there's something wrong with you. And we'll talk about shame and shame-based meaning that we give to ourselves and all of that later. But for right now, I want you to just pay attention and not beat yourself up if you don't have a self-care practice, because let's face it, I mean, we're busy, and most of us women are not generally good at putting themselves first, at turning their resourcefulness, their time, their energy towards caring for themselves. So let me know if you could use a little upping in your self-care. And the good news is that, I mean, yes, there was a time when I had 3 kids under the age of 3, 4 if you count my husband, and we do. And time was not anything. I mean, I basically saw self-care as like survival mode at the end of the day. I mean, I was exhausted. So I totally get it if the kids are little and you've got this. But the most important job you have is to put yourself first, because if you don't have the energy to look after yourself because you've given everything away, first of all, you're in survival mode, and you're going to be depleted very, very quickly. So let me know if you've felt some of that depletion and burnout, if you've been there. And maybe you're still there. And one of the things that, I talked about self-care being the action, and soul care. So another example is eating healthy is self-care. And we all know about eating healthy. And, as somebody who struggled with feeding my feelings with food for many, many years, which meant that I then ended up at one point about 120 pounds overweight. So I get the whole not eating healthy because I was feeding my feelings instead of actually feeling them. And soul care is actually savoring that food, eating for the joy of eating, not just to get fuel. So there's other examples. Those are just 2 examples that I have. But if you're interested in having more information on soul care, I've got a 7 fundamentals of soul care. And if you drop the word soul in the comments, I'll be in touch and I'll get the 7 fundamentals of soul care to you. And it's just a little bit of a playbook on how to do this, how to go from burned out to fired up and step back into your energy through soul care, which is really just sort of the first part of the reigniting your spark is soul care. So drop that in the comments if you want to have a look at that, the 7 fundamentals of soul care. You'll notice fun is in the title of that. So I want to thank you for showing up here with me, either live or on the replay. I just so appreciate you being here and showing up to find out how to give yourself permission to play and have more fun. Remember that the body heals with play, the mind heals with laughter, and the spirit heals with joy. So tune in next Friday as I bring you on more insights with a sprinkle of play and fun, maybe a little laughter, all designed to remind you that perimenopause and menopause are just the beginning of a dazzling new chapter I'm calling Regenopause. So it's time to grant yourself permission to play, to live full out, to get out of the stress and anxiety and burnout and have fun. Please share this video with your gal pals and who also might need to reignite their spark, and use the hashtag permission to play. We'll see you next Friday.